Have you ever asked yourself why the dream of owning a home seems increasingly out of reach for the middle class? In the year 2024, we find ourselves grappling with an uncomfortable truth. The housing market isn't what it used to be. The simple ideal of owning a home, a cornerstone of the American dream, is becoming a mirage for many within the middle class. There's a housing crisis brewing, and it's not just about the scarcity of homes. It's about their skyrocketing prices. Homes that were once within reach are now valued at sums that make the stomach churn. It's like watching a train pull away while you're stuck on the platform, the ticket price climbing with each passing second. But it's not just about the rising prices, it's about wages too. While the cost of homes spirals upwards, wages stubbornly refuse to follow suit. They're stagnating, creating a chasm between income and home prices that's growing wider and deeper day by day. It's a chasm that many middle-class families are finding impossible to leap across. And it's not just about the tangible, the bricks and mortar, the dollars and cents. It's about the intangible too. The sense of security that comes with owning a home, the pride, the stability, the opportunity to build wealth for future generations. These are slipping away from the grasp of the middle class, replaced by a gnawing uncertainty, a constant fear of what the future may hold. This is the reality we face, the uncomfortable truth, a truth that's not just about houses but about dreams and aspirations. It's about the very fabric of our society, the promise of opportunity for all, the belief that hard work and perseverance will be rewarded. As we dive into this topic, remember, this isn't about statistics and figures, it's about people, families and dreams. It's about the middle class, standing on the edge, looking at the ever-receding dream of homeownership. It's about understanding the crisis, its roots, its impact, and most importantly, its solutions. Because only by understanding can we hope to bridge the chasm and reclaim the dream. Consider the Smith family from Sacramento, California. Picturing a family from the Golden State, you might envision sunshine, sandy beaches, and the promise of the American dream. But for the Smiths, that dream is becoming increasingly elusive. Despite both parents holding down full-time jobs, they are finding it more challenging to keep a roof over their heads. John Smith, a schoolteacher, and his wife Sarah, a nurse, have always been the embodiment of hardworking middle-class Americans. They've dedicated their lives to serving their community, yet they find themselves grappling with the harsh reality of an ever-widening economic gap. Their struggle began with the creeping rise of mortgage rates. What was once a manageable monthly payment has swelled into a significant portion of their combined income. The cost of living too has not been kind to the Smiths. From groceries to gas to healthcare, every expense seems to be on an inexorable upward trajectory. Meanwhile, their wages have remained stagnant. Each paycheck stretches thinner and thinner, leaving them in a precarious balancing act between their income and their expenses. The Smiths are constantly juggling bills, often having to choose between necessities. They've trimmed their budget to the bone, but still, they find themselves teetering on the edge of homelessness. Yet, the Smiths are far from alone in this struggle. They are part of a growing number of middle-class families across the country who are finding it increasingly difficult to stay afloat in the face of skyrocketing living costs and flatlined incomes. Their story is a stark reminder that the housing crisis isn't just about numbers and statistics. It's about real people, with real lives, facing real challenges. The Smiths are not an exception, but a representation of millions of middle-class families across the country. Their story serves as a wake-up call to the harsh reality of the housing crisis. It's a crisis that doesn't discriminate based on occupation or location. It's a crisis that's reshaping the lives of hardworking families, just like the Smiths all across America. So, what happens when families like the Smiths can no longer afford their homes? Well, imagine a line of dominoes carefully arranged, standing tall and proud. Now picture the first one tipping over. It's not just that one domino that falls, is it? No, it's a chain reaction, each piece knocking into the next, creating a cascade of tumbling pieces. That's the domino effect of the housing crisis on the middle class. Let's start with the most immediate and stark consequence, homelessness. When a family can't keep up with their mortgage or rent, they're often left with no choice but to leave their homes. Suddenly, the very foundation of their stability is gone. The family unit, once secure within the four walls of their home, is now exposed to the elements, the uncertainty, the fear. But the dominoes keep falling. Next, we see the shadow of poverty creeping in. Families may find themselves unable to afford basic necessities like food, clothing, and healthcare. Parents may have to make tough decisions like whether to pay for groceries or the electricity bill. It's a balancing act on a tightrope with the safety net far below. And then there's the impact on children's education. Imagine trying to focus on math homework or a history lesson while your stomach growls with hunger, or while worry gnaws at your mind about where you'll sleep tonight. The stress and instability can lead to lower academic performance, creating a cycle that can be tough to break. The last domino to fall? That's our society as a whole. When our neighbors suffer, we all suffer. The housing crisis doesn't just affect homeowners, it affects our communities, our cities, our nation. So let's not forget the domino effect, because when one domino falls, it doesn't fall alone. And when families like the Smiths can no longer afford their homes, the consequences ripple out, touching us all. The housing crisis doesn't just affect homeowners, it affects us all. Now, let's meet the Johnsons from Austin, Texas. A family of 4, the Johnsons were like any other middle-class American family, living a comfortable life until the housing crisis of 2024 hit them hard. But their story is not one of despair. It's a tale of resilience, determination, and the power of resourcefulness. The Johnsons were on the brink of losing their home when they decided to take matters into their own hands. They did not sit idle, waiting for a miracle. Instead, they sought out resources and assistance programs that could help them stay afloat. They discovered a number of local and national programs designed to help families like theirs weather the storm. They tapped into the Community Development Block Grant Program, which offers financial assistance to families facing housing instability. They also reached out to the Department of Housing and Urban Development, which provided them with counseling and assistance in restructuring their mortgage payments. The Johnsons even took advantage of local food banks and community support networks to ensure their basic needs were met. But what truly sets the Johnsons apart is their indomitable spirit. They were faced with a daunting challenge, but they never lost hope. They fought tooth and nail to keep their home, to preserve their way of life. They knew that their struggle was not just about them, but about every middle-class family facing the same plight. In the face of adversity, the Johnsons did not crumble. They stood tall, they persevered, and they triumphed. They demonstrated the sheer determination of the middle class, a testament to the resilience that defines the very fabric of this country. Their journey is a beacon of hope for countless families navigating the tumultuous waters of the housing crisis. It's a reminder that resources are available, that help is out there, and that no one has to face this crisis alone. The Johnson story is an emblem of the middle class's tenacity. They confronted their reality head-on, sought help, and turned their situation around, proving that even in the darkest times, there is always a way forward. The Johnsons show us that there is hope, and that solutions do exist. So, what can we do to address this crisis? The housing crisis of 2024 has hit us hard, but it's not an insurmountable challenge. Rather, it's a call to action that demands innovative solutions. Let's delve into some potential answers to this pressing issue. Firstly, affordable housing initiatives can play a pivotal role. By investing in the development of low to moderate income housing, we can ensure that everyone has a safe and affordable place to call home. Not only does this provide immediate relief, but it also stimulates the economy by creating jobs and revitalizing neighborhoods. Furthermore, wage increases are another significant part of the solution. The cost of living has been rising, yet wages, especially for middle-class workers, have lagged behind. By ensuring that wages keep pace with the cost of living, we can help families stay afloat and avoid the cliff edge of homelessness. Lastly, mortgage assistance programs can be a lifeline for those struggling to keep their homes. These programs, offered by both government and private entities, can provide temporary relief to homeowners in the form of reduced mortgage payments, loan modifications, or even temporary forbearance. This can buy crucial time for families to regain their financial footing without the looming threat of eviction. But it's not just about policies, it's about changing our perspective as well. We need to shift our mindset from viewing housing as a commodity to seeing it as a human right. This shift in perspective can lead to more compassionate policies and a more inclusive society. Let's also not forget the power of community initiatives. From co-housing and community land trusts to neighborhood rehabilitation programs, these grassroots efforts can make a tangible difference in the lives of those affected by the housing crisis. Change is possible, but it requires action from all of us. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. The solution to the housing crisis is within our reach, but only if we're willing to reach out and grab it. Let's make the 2024 housing crisis a turning point, not a point of no return. Now that we understand the problem and potential solutions, what's next? The housing crisis of 2024 is not an issue we can afford to ignore. It's not simply about bricks and mortar, it's about stability, community, and the promise of a brighter future. It's about the middle class, our neighbors, our friends, and our families. It's about us. But here's the good news. We don't have to sit on the sidelines. Each one of us has a role to play in addressing this crisis, in turning the tide. And the first step is to get involved. One way to do this is by becoming an advocate for affordable housing. There are numerous organizations out there that are fighting for policies that ensure everyone can afford a decent place to live. They need our voices, our time, and our support. Volunteering is another powerful way to make a difference. Many nonprofits are working tirelessly to build and provide affordable housing. They could use an extra pair of hands, whether it's for construction, fundraising, or spreading the word about their mission. We can also make a difference right from our keyboards or smartphones. Social media is a powerful tool for raising awareness about the housing crisis. By sharing articles, facts, and personal stories, we can help to shift public opinion and build momentum for change. And let's not underestimate the power of our wallets. Donations, no matter how small, can go a long way in supporting the work of organizations that are working to solve the housing crisis. Remember, change is possible when we unite our efforts. When we raise our voices together, when we roll up our sleeves together, when we open our hearts and wallets together, we can create a wave of change that can't be stopped. Together, we can ensure that the dream of owning a home is within reach for the middle class once again. Let's turn this dream into a reality. Let's start today.